Hey, this is Julien Smith from Practice and Breather and a bunch of different things. I'm going to read my own tweets and I'm going to explain what they mean. So easy to talk, so hard to build. I think I was really upset when this happened. Anyone who's a startup entrepreneur knows this. I think you naturally, you have haters and the haters are saying things about you on the internet. The more, popular your thing becomes and the more successful your thing becomes, the more you have people on the sidelines talking trash about it. So what this tweet is really doing is it's pointing out how easy it is to write shit on the internet and how difficult it is to actually do the work. And I've written a lot of shit on the internet and I know how easy it is fun, but it's not actually building. Investors see product market fit by numbers. Founders see product market fit by feeling. It got a lot of heat when I wrote it because investors began to defend themselves, and then other founders looked at it and said, "Oh no! But it's important to look at the numbers and all these things." But it's pointing out that the numbers occur afterwards. And I think I'd written an investor update where I was talking to an investor and I was like, "Yeah, these are what the numbers are," and they were like it was not meaningful to them what those numbers. I was like, no, but something is happening here. It was really difficult for that person just looking at the numbers to be able to understand what I understood. And in fact, they're doing their job fine. But if they're not a feeling person, they should acknowledge that the feelings are actually a valid form of information that founders get and that founders get fast. And if you trust the founder, then you trust the founder's feelings. I guess the problem is many founders have lots of feelings and those feelings are wise. But ultimately, the founders feel it first. Then the numbers show it after they follow their instinct and after they follow their intuition. A great designer early on in a startup's life cycle is game changing. Okay, so first of all, this wasn't always true. You could just, Craigslist or whatever is a good example. Maybe it was MySpace. Did MySpace have a good designer in the day? I don't know, But nonetheless, the exception proves the rule to a point. You have a bunch of people, they're building something 10 years ago, 15 years ago, some number, you just throw it out and it didn't matter how garbagey it was. But the sophistication of the stuff that comes out increases and increases and increases over time to a point where it's essentially impossible to throw out just some piece of text. And so when you have someone who is able to punch above their weight from a design perspective, it makes a 3-person company or a 3-person project look a 100-person project. Makes it look like it is so much more pro than it actually is. And it drives attention. It's interesting. I've onboarded people onto my thing practice, and people are just like, "Well, it just looks great," and everything else from a features perspective, it might be fine, but because it looks better, it resonates more with them, and so it is a differentiator in a business early on. Surprisingly, the best investor pitches are actually just conversation. The best decks are really just whiteboard sessions. The best negotiations are simple discussions of priorities. Okay, here's why this is true. You come in and you are talking to an investor and you're vibing with them. You never actually get to a place where it's like, here's what the deck is and here's what the pitch is. A pitch isn't really a pitch. It's just a way to convey energy and to get that person to feel what you're feeling and to believe what you believe. The heat that I did get was from investors who were like, but pitch decks are very important to get a story going and to help us understand that story. That is true. But it is still true that you lead with feeling. And the job, as some investor a long time ago told me, was you make the investor fall in love with you in the first meeting. And then you make sure in the subsequent meetings that they do not fall out of love. And so that's true from the perspective of pitching investors. It's true from the perspective of decks that are just really intended to convey a single idea and get you to believe an idea. And then finally, when you get to the negotiation stage, some people negotiate and they negotiate hard in the wrong way. If you are negotiating with an investor, often it's just, well, here's what I care about and here's what I'd like to prioritize. And an open discussion like that is so much better because at the end of the day, you have to end up being partners. Probably 35% of all founders are out there busting their ass because A, they want to convince the world, i.e. themselves, that they aren't a fucking loser. B, they're sick of people not believing in them. C, they're unemployable otherwise. D, nobody else will give them a chance. All those things remain true no matter how successful you become. I was talking to a founder I had dinner with on me, and he had really huge, super significant exit, incredibly smart person, incredibly successful, was like, I am unemployable, and said that. And to an outsider, it's not believable because, of course, maybe objectively, oh, they're successful, they're just saying that. But the reality is founders have complexes. I think someone said, chips on shoulders, put chips in pockets. The meaning of that is the bigger your fucking complex is that you have, the bigger issues, the more issues that you have, the more you're going to go out there and prove to yourself and prove to the world what you're made of. You could also maybe go meditate and not start a company, maybe do both. I don't know. But the more you are really like doubting yourself, the more you're going to go out there and prove to yourself that you're capable of something. So, okay, best hires, no ego, works independently. You'd want to spend time with them anyway, goes after missing pieces without asking, learns to do the next job they'll be needed for before it is even a job. Especially true under 25 or something people, right? Because there are so many things to do and there are so few people to do those things. When people react strongly to this is because they think, oh, of course the boss wants them to have no ego. And of course the boss wants them to be perfect. But guess what? It's a job, motherfuckers. Why should we care about it? And so, yeah, it's cool. Like if you want to go have a job and like not, do the extra stuff around. I respect your right to do that, but there's a set of people out there and when you find them, they blow your mind and then you promote them and then you promote them again, and you promote them again. And you can't promote them fast enough. They're high energy. They just go out and they do the thing. You haven't even thought about what the thing is, but they've gone out and they've done it already and they sent it to you. I'm surrounded by a few people like that in my company today. And it is amazing. And so if you can find them, get them. Hey, I'm Julien Smith. I run Practice.do. Thanks for reading my tweets with me and figuring out what they mean.